Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be taking a look at this Call of Dragons community survey that they have posted on the official Discord. Now, from what it says on here, it's going to be a day-to-day experience for the community, as well as types of content you may enjoy the most. So we're going to go through this. We're going to fill out as much as we're able to, see what questions exactly they're asking, and then I'd like to maybe rate some of the questions. Like, what's the quality of the question based on kind of the overall theme as of late in the community, especially over the past number of updates, where, again, right, there has kind of been these questionable changes, inclusions, and I think that's fair to say. I don't believe that that's necessarily all-encompassing for the entirety of the updates, but it has been something that you could argue is a trend. So let's see what they have for us. And again, is this going to be an overall good community experience survey, or is it falling a little bit short? And I always recommend, right, for those of you that might be iffy or on the fence, take time to fill this out. Not only do you get some rewards, but I'm always a big proponent of being able to provide feedback, at least in any and every opportunity that you do have to do so. So let's go ahead and dive right in. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us out. Because that's not a lot. Thanks. Okay. So here's our start. Let's go right into next. Let's see what they have for us first on page 2. Okay, here we go. So section 1, overall experience. So they've kind of broken this up. So maybe it's only a couple questions per. So which platforms do you usually use to stay connected with other COD players? Okay, so yeah, I guess. I mean, I'll kind of fill this out. Well, to be fair, I still do, because again, I use my main account on 65 to basically still communicate in in-game chats, and or if anyone DMs me, I will as well. Official COD Discord, of course. Official Facebook, yeah, I usually have a tab open, so I'll kind of check that here and there. Player run, of course. I'm usually on Reddit too as well. Okay, overall, how would you rate the atmosphere among COD players? Okay, I mean, this is kind of a broad and vague question. It would have been nice if they gave an example here, saying like, i.e., you know, how are people usually acting in a KVK? Or, hey, are COD players helpful? Like just anything that's maybe a little bit more specific, because this question is like really, really just, it's wide ranging. So let's try and be a little relevant here in how we answer, right? So how am I going to rate the atmosphere among COD players? Let's go with something like, how am I going to rate the atmosphere amongst COD players recently? Well, I also think this is subjective because depending on, like, let's say you're in a KVK right now and you're basing this off of how your world chat or your KVK chat plays out. And let's say maybe you're in a little bit more of a toxical-ish KVK where you just see a lot of banter that's happening, or maybe a lot of things that are being said that maybe may not be so favorable. Right? You might say something like not satisfied. So I think what I'm going to do here, just to be fair, because to me, I feel like I'd like the question to be a little bit more tailored, is I'm going to go with like a 5. I think that's fair. Maybe a 6, just because there's not really an in-between number, right? It's 1 through 5. So I'm going to go with a 6 here. And again, like I said, it's just because the question to me is too broad and vague. Okay. Can you briefly share why you're choosing this rating? Okay. I am choosing this rating because the above question is too broad, vague, and not specific enough to what part of the COD, we'll say atmosphere you are looking to gauge player feedback on. Okay, we'll do that. All right, next. Okay, in-game community atmosphere. Okay, so let's see here. This girl. So this is world chat, alliance chat, row chat. Can I go back here and does it still have all my answers? Oh, it does actually keep it. Oh, but see, this just says this is like general overall experience. I wish it was a little bit more specific then, because I was like, oh, did I miss this? So, okay. How would you describe the general atmosphere in the in-game chats for world chat, alliance chat, and row chat? I mean, to be fair, world chat versus alliance chat could be very different, where you can argue, and I think this is maybe this is a little bit closer to having something a little bit more specific, because here they're saying very friendly and positive versus very unfriendly. But again, you could have two completely different answers if this is Alliance chat or World chat. And it also doesn't, I think, necessarily do the question and the answers justice, because you could get very skewed data here, right? I think a better way to maybe ask this question is, in your Alliance, like, what's the atmosphere specifically in your Alliance chat, or in your recent KVK chat? What has been the atmosphere there? Because if they're trying to gauge like whether it's toxic or not toxic, which is kind of another way to view this question, I just don't necessarily think that this is going to absolutely do that. And I say that because in most cases, your Alliance chat, for the most part, is probably not going to be, I would argue, as toxic or potentially banterish as a KVK chat would be. And I would like to believe that most Alliance chats are probably a little bit more friendly versus the KVK chats. And that's not to say that a KVK chat is just completely unhinged. It probably depends on which KVK you're in and who's there. But yeah, I mean, I think part of me is maybe going to go with a 6 here as well. I think that's fair, just because I would like the question to be a little bit more specific. Okay, how comfortable do you usually feel chatting or expressing yourself in in-game chat? Okay, this is a little bit more of a specific question. Now, I would say for me, if I'm going in timing, I would say very comfortable, because to me, it just doesn't matter. If I'm chatting in there, or if I want to type something, I don't really care what anyone else has said, right? If I'm going to post. Now, obviously, this would be different if maybe, or it could be different if you're someone who's going off of the chat and maybe you decide to click on the chat at a time where there's just some intense stuff going on and you just don't feel comfortable chiming in because like that's not your topic. But you could always just post something in there that's unrelated to what's recently being talked about and kind of just start your own topic line. So again, I mean, part of me feels like you could maybe get some skewed results here. Might need to be a little bit more specific. If there were moments where you felt less comfortable in in-game chat, feel free to share. I'll say not necessarily. However, anytime something uncomfortable is being discussed, that could dissuade players from participating in chat, or being uncomfortable in starting a new line of discussion. And so, when I'm thinking about this now, part of me almost feels like, is there even a need to ask such questions? And I say that mainly because it's not as though I think people wake up, like the majority of players are waking up and just thinking to themselves, well, how am I going to be able to cause the most amount of chaos today in my Alliance chat or in my KVK chat? Or, man, I can't wait until I get reported so many times I finally get muted. Like, that's the approach they're going in with. Like, I'm going to post things and talk about things in one of these chats or in all these chats until I get muted. And like, that's the thrill they live for. I just don't believe that's the way that like the majority of people are waking up. Maybe you could say an arguably handful, right? But I'd like to believe no one is, waking up with that immediate mentality to do that on a daily basis. So part of me just feels like, well, I mean, it's like the ebbs and flow. Like, isn't just chat just kind of going to go in the direction that it goes in? And I mean, they already have reporting systems and mechanics in place to address anyone. So I guess I don't know. Part of me feels like maybe this could have been done differently. You guys will let me know how you feel about that. Okay. Player-run Discord servers group. Do you also put it in unofficial community spaces? Yes, I do, actually. Now, part of me feels like you could have some more questions here. And I guess I'm curious on, why are you even asking if players participate in player-run Discord servers, groups, or chats? Because those are just things that have existed forever. I mean, in almost any community, I mean, they have kingdom discords. You have sometimes like data service discords. Sometimes you'll have like really big player community discords that are just like information centers, right? Or they're places where people can go that aren't the official game Discord. But it doesn't affect anything, in my opinion. It's not like it impacts the official COD Discord in some negative way. And the same thing with like groups and chats. I mean, I guess they're just maybe trying to figure out like how many players are maybe engaged and involved beyond just the official COD Discord. But it's like, what would you even do with that information? I don't know, right? Like that's maybe I'm lost there. Okay, so I mean, these first two sections just feel like a wash to me. To be fair, okay. External community spaces, not official player run Discords. Okay, how would you describe the atmosphere in these unofficial community spaces? Okay, so I wonder, are they asking these questions because maybe they've been getting feedback that the COD Discord has been unhinged at times, or like maybe they let too many things go through? Like, I guess I'm trying to kind of figure out and dissect based on questions they're asking. How is that related to like what answers are they, like what data are they trying to find out? And like I guess that's one thing that maybe comes to mind. Okay, and again, this could be very skewed because you can argue it also depends on what discords you're in. Are you in kingdom discords? Are you in a player run Discord? Is it like an information only? Like what kind of a server is it that's related to COD? Are you in a Discord where all you do is just shame other people? Right? So again, your answer can be skewed here. So I think I'm just going to go with a 6 and just be fair, right? Because I don't know. I guess I just feel like maybe the question could be a little bit more specific here. Is there anything you'd like to share about your experience in unofficial Discords? I'll just say not at the moment because I don't know what would I say. It's like if I'll tell you this, if I'm in a Discord, it's you. And again, my situation might be a little bit different than others, but I join Kingdom Discords. I'll join like data service Discords. I'll join like player run Discords if they have like really good information there, or maybe like if they post updates on certain things that like no one else is doing. So yeah, like that's an example of Discords I would join. And I engage in the general community chats, at least for some of the Discords, or if people ping me, I'll go and reply. But it's all pretty nonchalant. You know what I mean? Let's go. That's good, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. Yeah, you see? There you go. So done with you. Okay, are you currently, let me see, are you currently a member of the official COD Discord? Okay, yes, I am. Okay, let's go next. How many, okay, this actually isn't going to be that long of a survey. I thought I'd be here for a little bit longer. Okay, hang on, let me get my arm down here. Thanks, sweetie. How would you describe the atmosphere in the official COD Discord? I'm going to be honest, man. I was expecting this survey to just be more than what it is so far. Now, maybe the next couple sections we're going to get there, and it's going to feel like, okay, this is great. But I actually thought this was going to go in a completely different direction. So at the moment, slightly disappointed. Okay. How would you describe the atmosphere in our official COD Discord? I mean, to be fair, this is probably more of an appropriate question, right? So what I will say is I do think, for the most part, the atmosphere is pretty good. I would probably go with like a 7 or an 8 is what I'm thinking right now. So, yeah. Maybe I'll go with a 7 is what I'll go with. How comfortable do you usually feel participating in our official community channels? Oh, very comfortable. If there are ways we can make our official community feel more enjoyable or welcoming, please share. I would just say like being mindful of banter or posts that are borderline. We'll say are borderline and could be interpreted poorly by one person or another. Basically like non-neutral. I'll say like AKA non-neutral posting. Non-neutral post. Okay, have you with a mod? Yes. So okay, wait, hang on. Is this indicative of something? So let me explain why I'm going to give it a 7. So the reason I'm gonna vote the COD Discord atmosphere as a 7 is because the COD Discord is pretty loose. Like, let's just be fair. If you don't hang around COD Discord Gen Chat on a daily or semi-regular basis, you could probably come on there and think to yourself, wow, like it's a bit unhinged at times. Or the rules are a little bit loose. Maybe not the rules are loose, but just the language is loose. The innuendos are loose. And but if you're there all the time, right, and you might think, for example, this is inappropriate. I think that's fair to say. Now, if you're someone who's there all the time and you don't necessarily, and you're not, I guess, easily offended, or you understand that because you're seeing these things on a regular basis, this is just kind of how the general banter is, and it's not meant to necessarily offend anyone, right? Because most of these people are talking amongst themselves, or they're talking to other people that they already communicate with on a regular basis. So this is not meant as any kind of ill intent towards anyone. But it is that fine line you have to walk between, well, how loose do you allow Gen Chat to be versus maybe over moderating things. And to me, for someone who basically hangs out and at least watches and or participates on a regular basis, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't look at anything and say to myself, oh, wow, this person's being incredibly offensive to, another race. Now, keep in mind, can you make an argument to say that, yeah, there's some things that you should probably chat about in private or in DMs versus in a public community space? Absolutely. I think that's fair. So anyways, that's why I'm going to give it that. That's why I answered it this way. And if you have a different thought, please feel free to let me know. If you have interacted with, oh my God. So now I'm understanding the direction of this survey. They're basically doing a mental health check / temperature gauge on conduct for the COD Discord, the mods, and others. Oh, this is an interesting survey. Yeah. Because like I said, I was expecting, to be fair, that this survey was going to be kind of a pre-developer meeting survey where they were going to aim to take a lot of feedback leading into the dev meeting survey. So maybe they could figure out main topics, as an example, to cover within the game. Maybe we'll just have to do that on our own. Okay, if you have interacted with a moderator, how would you describe the experience? I mean, helpful to not helpful. I mean, that, to be fair, the experience you're now indicating is not a general experience. It's, well, did they help me out or answer a question? Did they direct me somewhere, right? So when you're asking how would you describe the experience, and then you say something like helpful to not helpful, right? It probably would have been better to say good or bad, as an example, right? Because you probably could have got a little bit more from that, but at the same time, that probably would still be skewed, right? You'd have to ask a specific question, such as, if you've interacted with the moderator where you asked them a question, how was your experience? And then you would give the answers of very helpful to not helpful at all, right? This just feels like the question's asking one thing, but the answers are telling me another thing. I'm almost curious on who wrote this questionnaire up, because I just feel like there are some opportunities here, right, to improve the questionnaire and the responses that we would be getting. So because I don't think the question is doing the answers justice, I'm going to say neutral. If there is anything we could improve in terms of moderation, is there anything we could improve in terms of moderation or support? I mean, to be fair, right, the mods are helpful. If the question is, well, do they help or do they guide me? Do they get me answers? Do they get me to where I need to go? I would argue yes. The mods also engage in the community. So not only are they kind of community engagers, but they're also question answerers, right? To kind of keep things simple. So, yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. I guess, the answer here probably would be about the same thing, which is just, be mindful of posts from members that may cross the line or could be offensive to a particular individual, right? Based on background, right? Ethnicity, religion, race, right? Etc. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, right? I mean, that's kind of a general thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, now we're getting something a little bit. I mean, to me, this is where the survey has started. This is like the best page for me. Again, this is the one I feel could be like the most impactful. So maybe the last two we're gonna get something, right? They're gonna give us some dessert finally. Okay, which type of official content do you enjoy the most? Game update previews, absolutely. Let me see. Patch notes, analysis, of course. Dev feedback, dev Q&A, absolutely. Roots of War, yeah, absolutely. Give code, sure, why not? Hero preview reveals, those are great. Hero introduction videos, yes. I'm gonna say on here the dev Q&A, hot topics, developer to community meetup, meetups. Yeah. Also, we'll say like to share feedback. What other kinds of content have they done that I'm missing or not accounting for? Oh, let's say maybe like game wide surveys on main or hot topic areas from players in SOS and beyond. I think that would be dope if they did stuff like that. Maybe even being able to do something where they send the maybe like maybe like game wide surveys for kings, queens, like just because again there's a lot of kings and queens, right? I mean you could at least get, even if you're not, because queens to have a wider scope of we'll say data / feedback. I think that could be dope. Yeah, I think those are just maybe just a couple that come to mind. Okay, what content would you like to see more of? What would I like to see more of? I mean, I think the Row League live streams probably would be one. So like Row League, let's say like Row League live streams starting in playoffs would be great, I think. I don't know what they mean by mini games. So, what else would I like to see more content of? I think like more surveys, and then also releasing the results to the community. That would be cool. Yeah, more promotion of content creators. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, that is a form of content, even if it is a little bit more direct. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they've been doing pretty good recently with, I mean, yeah, that's, I think that's all I got at the moment. Is there any content that you feel is confusing or needs clearer explanations? I mean, yeah, some of the developer feedbacks could go into a bit more detail, where they are not as broad, vague in their answers. Examples is doing more of, we'll say doing more of the before after comparisons, or oh sorry comparisons or previous current. Yeah, I think that's something that, now they've done a little bit better of a job on this, and it's taken them a while to kind of do a little bit better of a job, but this could still be done more consistently, I feel. Okay, and then please enter your Lord ID. Okay, I have to enter my Lord ID. Okay, what's my, is this, hang on, where's my thing? Sorry, give me a sec here. Where's my Lord ID? I have to go find this now. Let's grab this. Okay, copy the clipboard. Boom. Submit. Okay, there we go. Again, I'd love to know what you guys think about this, right? Like I said, I wasn't expecting this survey to go in this direction that it did. I thought it would be, like I said, a little bit different. I guess it's okay. I mean, it'd be nice if maybe they did more of these and they did one that was a little bit more geared towards something else. But got you. Boom booms. So yeah, you guys let me know what you thought. Again, survey you expected, not good. Maybe not so much because of what you might have been expecting. Like, I'm just curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. That's it for us. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.